and I'll say that for any smoker in my life, I tell them, quit smoking traditional cigarettes now and switch to vaping if it helps you quit. That is my position on this. The fact that we haven't had clear messaging in this country, I think actually literally kills people.
Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
I'm dying to see what America's going to do to this. I'll use my favorite word again, clusterfuck, 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 clusterfuck.
To confuse the public about science, to confuse scientists about science. What?
It's a trap! It actually is a trap.
But guess what? We got a lot to do. You gotta say hi to me. We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway.
You know, we would prefer to not have kids on the continuum of risk, if at all possible, but we recognize that's not possible because kids are kids, and there's many, many, many reasons why they choose to do different types of things. I started saying that, you know, we wish, at least from the FDA's perspective, that kids were not entering into the continuum of harm, but once they're there, you know, how do we care for them? And, you know, our messaging is prevention based, and so we're trying. We certainly acknowledge that teens are teens and that they are experimenters. If we get asked a specific question by a teen, either a direct message to us or via social media about the relative harms of vaping versus cigarettes, we try to be as clear as possible that if your comparator is a cigarette, vaping is less harmful. But vaping alone, especially if you've never been a cigarette user, vaping alone is not benign. And so we try to give them that frame of reference. And what I would say is kids are incredibly smart. I'm sure both of these gentlemen, I'm sure, see that. And they have a crap detector a mile wide. Like if we were to message proactively to teens that vaping is not as harmful as smoking, there are people on both sides of that argument, right? One is you could be just give them the facts and let them make the decisions. The other side of the argument is then you're getting rid of all the protective factors and you're kind of giving them license to use. And so, you know, we have not tried to tackle that directly in any of our proactive messaging. But when we get questions specifically in social or direct message, that's when we have that one-on-one dialogue.
Right.
Well, hello, people. It's Friday, and we're here doing our thing. Friday nights is Kevin and I's time to inform and educate and have some fun. I hope everybody's doing okay. I see that there's some people chatting in the chat room there. Michelle's there. She was first. And Steve and Mallory and James and Kevin and Raj. There's people. Michael Redfern's here too. Hello, people. This week has been crazy. You know, I did the show last week and I told everybody that I was staring down the barrel of a Category 1 hurricane, and it completely bypassed me. We didn't get any bad weather at all. We didn't even get any rain from this hurricane. It decided it didn't hate me enough to destroy my home, and it went and it hit Houston instead. So let's feel bad for those people, but you know, we got some stuff to talk about, so let's just go ahead and get the Kevster. Let's get the Kevster in the chat room, or not in the chat room, but in the actual room. Let's play his intro.
I enjoy having
I enjoy having an intro where I don't have to hold them fucking things up every time.
Not anymore. You already have them. You know.
'Cause, yeah, that's why I like it. You like my basement?
Yeah. Well, you are a basement dwelling troll. Basement. So, how was your week, Kevin? Did you get any rain from the hurricane?
It's off and on. It's like the weather. No pun intended. It rains, and then I went 9 miles to my son's this afternoon with the boy, and he taught me about aliens, all he knew at 5, and
are they the illegal kind or the outer space kind?
Outer space guy. He's all of a sudden he likes outer space, and then it's absolutely just pouring like I'm in your Texas town for a minute, and then it stopped. So yeah, it's been sprinkly and then all bullshitty and then hot. So I feel like I'm living in Texas.
That's South Texas right there. It was 105 or 106 today. 99% humidity.
You're nuts. You're nuts.
The AC was working fine.
But that's a year-round thing for you, right? Even in the winter,
it gets down into like
80s.
the 30s every once in a while in the winter time.
Yeah.
Every couple of years we get a little bit of snow. One year we got 8 inches of snow overnight, and then by like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it was
gone.
It was gone. You know
what snow? Yeah. So if you worked at night, you never knew it. Right.
Well, I mean, if you were indoors all night, when the sun came up, it was there. My wife went out and built a snowman in the front yard, and by 1 o'clock, the poor thing was really pitiful looking.
Well,
yeah. So I told you, Kevin, I started to tell you a story today.
Yeah.
In the back room, and I didn't finish it, so I'm gonna start over a little bit. So I have this patient. She's in her mid-60s.
Mm-hmm.
And about a month ago or so, she was deciding to clean the house. So she was going to mop or sweep under the dining room table. So she took the chairs and stacked them on top of the table. Okay. And apparently while she was sweeping under the table, the chair decided to fall and conquer in the head and knock her out. And, a little bit later, she woke up on the floor with a headache and just finished her task. She no problem for her. She just, so a few days later, though, she, the husband kept telling her that she wasn't acting right and she couldn't remember shit. And she went to the hospital and realized that they did, brain scan, found out she had a little bleed on the brain, which was increasing her intracranial pressure and doing. So they had to fix her.
Hematoma,
and
right?
Yeah, they sent her home. She's been home for about 2 weeks. I've been seeing her for about 2 weeks, and she still can't really mentally focus on things, and her memory's all jumbled up, and she scrambled her egg pretty good.
Yeah.
So the husband, who is still working, he says to me, when you get to the house, give me a call so I can call her because I told her not to open the door for anybody, which is a safe thing to do, especially if you're a little confused or discombobulated. Yeah. So I pull into the house yesterday, and I'm on the phone with him as I pull in, and he says, I've been trying to call her all day, and she's not answering the phone, so she may not open the door for you. Because I can't get a hold of her. And I said to him, hey, there's always a pickup truck in the driveway when I get there. Did you take the truck today? And he said, no.
Oh, shit.
I said, well, the truck that's normally in the driveway is not in the driveway.
Oh, shit.
And he's like, holy fuck, I'm on the way. I'm like 30 minutes away. So I spend about an hour and a half driving around town looking for this brand new GMC, beautiful brand new truck. Can't find it anywhere. So I'm like, well, maybe, because this patient is about 45 minutes from my house. So I drive towards the city, thinking that maybe she might have started that way. I get all the way back to town, and I go home and I call him and I'm like, "Have you found her yet?" And he says, "Yeah, we're at the hospital right now. She was in a horrible car accident."
Oh.
So hide your car keys, dude.
Yeah.
Hide them well.
Yep.
It
she hasn't
sucks.
driven in 5 years.
It sucks, and it really makes me feel bad because we have no idea when she left the house.
Right.
Because he was at work. So I feel kind of bad. I mean, I'm the one that alerted him that she wasn't home.
Mm-hmm.
And, you always kind of feel partially guilty or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel really bad about
Of course.
it. Yeah. If any of you have grandparents or loved ones that are maybe having a little dementia, make sure you hide the car keys well. Because my thought was that she was in the house and looking for a snack and couldn't find the thing she wants.
Yep.
So she thought, I'll just go to the store and get whatever I want. And that's why I went to the grocery stores. I went to all the places that I could think of that she would have gone.
Yeah.
And we didn't get it. But anyway, there's my horror story for the week.
Damn.
Horror story for the week, Kevin.
Not good.
No. So we got this Wellness Wednesday video, Kev.
What wellness? What?
Wellness William Webb is here, by the way.
What? Well, look at that.
I think you're gonna enjoy this video, Kevin. So let's go ahead and share this.
For some reason, I don't trust you, but all right.
Wellness Wednesday. Let's make sure the volume is up. Here we go. Let's see what this says.
This Wellness Wednesday, I want to share some numbers with you this morning. According to the CDC last year, 10% of all middle and high school students across the U.S. use tobacco. That's about 3 million kids, and about 2 million of them were vaping.
10%, Kevin.
You know what? You can kiss my ass, and so can she. 10%.
10%.
It's defined as tobacco, so guess what, kids? It's probably 3% or less that are allegedly smoking.
They say that 7.7% are e-cigarette users. That means that 2.3% are users of other tobacco products. Cigarettes and pouches and
it's all in the word.
Everything else. Yeah, let's...
Use tobacco. That's about 3 million kids.
3
about
million.
2 million of them were vaping. Now, health experts say these teens are turning to vaping to cope with stress, but many don't realize the negative effects it can have. So this morning we have Dr. Lauren Matthews with Lexington Pediatric Practice.
Now, Kevin.
What?
I'm not... okay, so...
Don't start with me, Patrick.
Now... I understand. I'm a fat dude, Kevin. I'm pretty chubby, right? I do work in healthcare.
Yeah.
But I never ever preach at my patients about their bad habits, other than being lazy. I do push you need to move. But otherwise, I don't tell people what to eat. I don't tell people what to drink. I don't tell people what to do because I'm not 100% innocent of eating junk food and maybe not being
control
that.
It all.
But this person here on the screen is a pediatrician, and she's going to get on here and she's going to preach at people for bad habits. And I'm just wondering if maybe she maybe needs to tell herself to push herself away from the dessert bar.
To tell us about these dangers. Good morning.
Good morning.
So excited to have you. Now, first up, let's talk about what some of these side effects are for these teens and young adults.
Side effects.
They may not realize, how bad that can be for their body.
Yeah, absolutely. So vaping is a relatively new thing. So
It's
don't
relatively
fully understand.
new, Kevin.
Yeah.
Relatively new. I've been doing it for over a decade.
Is
that still new?
I'm gonna, yeah, Janice and I, 11 years each. That's 22 years worth of new. I'm going to point out to the audience that I want you to listen very closely for the harms caused that she's going to quote. If there are any, I'm going to predict she doesn't really have any other than nicotine. She's going to say nicotine. I'm predicting that, and fruit flavors. What is it? The jolly fucking whatever. And then there'll be nothing other than that. It's all going to be fodder and filler, and then she's going to go get her cream cheese pie. That's my opinion.
Somebody in the chat room has James says that her skin does not fit her skull. Oh my God! Later tonight during the Rumble portion of the show, we've got a story about skin. Just all right. It is a horrifying story.
All of the long-term effects, but the main ingredient is nicotine, and that is well studied. For our teens and adolescents, nicotine is especially problematic because of its impacts on the developing brain. So nicotine.
Kevin.
What?
Kevin.
What?
The impacts of nicotine on the developing brain, Kevin.
Yeah. Should I be concerned?
Well, I mean, at some point, you're going to exhibit some brain damage because you started smoking when you were like 5.
I can't. May, could, might, possibly.
Those negative effects on the developing brain are really going to hit you at some point, Kevin. I'm just saying. I know that you're like nearly 70, but at some point they're gonna creep up on you.
Lack of nicotine causes these people to talk.
Impacts the parts of the brain that control memory, mood.
Kevin, is this why you're always forgetful and you're always in a bad mood?
What are you talking? What?
It says that nicotine affects the parts of the brain that affect memory and mood.
I'm in no mood.
I'm just wondering if that's why you're always pissy and your memory's bad.
Attention and focus and learning.
Yeah. That is something too that I don't think that they realize is how addictive it can be. Now, can teens get more addicted to nicotine than adults?
So the product that's in these e-cigarettes is actually a highly concentrated nicotine salt. So regardless of if you're
all e-cigarettes must contain nicotine salts, Kevin.
Where are my harms?
I need some, because none of my nicotine is salt. None. Nada. Zilch. Zero.
These ute.
You're a teen or an adult, the more you vape, the harder it's going to be to quit.
Okay, so this is something that I want to talk about too. I hear a lot of people say, well, I am vaping. Vaping is better than smoking cigarettes. Is that true?
Not necessarily. So when vaping was first publicized, it kind of was publicized as a safer alternative to cigarettes.
Not necessarily, she says.
You know, I've heard this about 4 or 5 times in the past couple of months on our show. Touted as a safer alternative. The word safer alternative. And they're taking what we've been saying, we being who those people are, or we are.
But Kevin,
they're twisting it like
Kevin,
a fucking orange. What?
We know for a fact that Judge Leon ruled in the Seneca case in 2009.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. 2009, that vaping companies could not market their product as safer than smoking.
Correct. That's correct.
And that the reason why FDA could not regulate them as a medical device was because those companies had not marketed their products in such a way.
Correct.
So where is this woman getting the idea that anybody touted that these products were safer than smoking? Because none of those companies that sold those products could legally do that.
Not through the companies, no.
Yeah. So the only people that were saying that it was safe, that was us.
Yeah.
That was us. We
like,
spoke the truth, and now they're trying to use it against us, Kevin.
I don't honestly think she's old enough to remember the Seneca case.
Well, I mean, I don't know, dude. That very prominent eyebrow ridge. If I would love to see what her skull looks like outside of the fleshy bits, because she has a very prominent skull ridge. She has a recessing skull line, which there could be, and again, I would need a DNA test to confirm, because we know that at one point there were 3 strains of humanity living on the earth at the same time: Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon, and regular Homo sapiens, and there was some intermingling. So I'm wondering if she has a recessive Neanderthal.
I think that's how tobacco control experts
genetic strain, because I mean she does have that prominent brow ridge and the receding skull line. But again, I would have to see her skull without any flesh on it to be able to read the markers properly.
Yeah, well.
Michelle Elliott says that she's a Sasquatch. She'd have to stand up for us to be able to confirm that, Michelle.
Wife,
but it still contains nicotine, and then the aerosol contains chemicals that are potentially harmful to the body too, like small particles that can penetrate deep into the lungs.
Now, Kevin,
what?
If you remember last week I did a full breakdown on Twitter because some guy was claiming that PG caused lung bronchiolitis obliterans, and I did a scientific. I cut and pasted a lot of shit from textbooks, explaining why. And one of the reasons why it was explained that PG could not cause lung damage and could not cause bronchiolitis obliterans was because of the shape and size of the particles that prevented them from going deep into the lungs.
You did. You showed us.
Okay. And this woman is now claiming that particles are going deep into, even though
potentially
we know for a fact that cannot happen, because PG, the carrier, even in its vaporized form, the droplets are too large and not appropriately shaped to be deep inhaled. And as Michael Redfern and my post explains, that it dissolves and is metabolized very quickly by the human body.
See, but we try. Some of us really try hard, I commend you.
And that was like a lot of effort that I put into that response, and I'm very upset that these people have not read it yet.
It contains cancer-causing chemicals and also other things that we just don't fully know about yet.
Yes. She pulled cancer and we just don't know off in the same sentence.
Well, she's a professional. Even the scientists are confused about science. Underwear.
So the best advice here, do not vape. It's not good for you. Now, for folks who are already smoking or vaping, what are some resources that are available to help quit this habit?
Wait, what?
I said, quit telling me what the fuck to do.
Oh, yeah.
So always talk to your healthcare provider.
And did you see how she pulled out that teacher voice? Her voice went up like an octave, and it came out a couple decibels louder.
We are more than happy to help you, but there are other resources too that you can find online through the CDC or through other websites.
Absolutely. And if you take a look at your screen right now, you can see that there's 1-800-QUIT now. There's smoking cessation classes. You can also text QUIT to 47848, where you can get some of those good resources that will help you out as well. Now, if you're in Colombia, is there a medical drug that people can take, like a patch or something that helps stop with this?
Yes.
So if you're using this product, it contains nicotine in it. What other big pharma and FDA approved product that contains nicotine can we give to our young people to help them quit vaping?
Hey, Patrick, I got to ask this question. You're in the medical field. Now you can ad lib if you need to. If you don't know enough about something,
I don't talk about anything. If I don't know about it, I don't talk about it.
Does that make you suddenly qualified to prescribe or suggest other things?
Well, she is a pediatrician.
Yeah, because children don't talk back.
No.
Normally.
So because e-cigarettes contain nicotine, there are nicotine replacement options that include patches or gums, and Lexington Medical Center offers smoking cessation classes as well.
Okay,
For
and
children?
in those classes, what are they able to learn?
So they're able to learn coping techniques and ways that you can help to stop quitting, and then also
Stop quitting.
Stop quitting, yeah.
Ways that you can help stop quitting.
Because you're going to give children nicotine that you just said, developing brains and worms, and now you're going to give them nicotine patches and gums directly to their skin and their tongues. You stupid
Let's stop quitting.
learn coping techniques and ways that you can help to stop quitting, and then also give you more information about resources to nicotine replacement therapy.
Now, I wonder if any of the nurses that she supervises, because she's a doctor, so she isn't, ultimately responsible for the work of nurses. I wonder if any of the nurses that watch this, when she comes to work the next day and goes, "Ha ha, stop quitting."
I want to know.
Because the nurses are smarter than the damn doctors are.
Yes, they are. I love nurses. I want to know where
I love one nurse.
The
one I'm married
stats of children being treated for nicotine addiction is. I can't find it still. I've asked American Pediatrics, I've asked PAVE, and I've asked
there was a call to action that was released this week, Kevin, from the body parts and the mommy groups and all that were demanding that FDA put more attention into stop vaping therapies for children.
Yeah.
I did see that. I did not include that in the show notes because I thought it was kind of laughable.
Just wouldn't have liked you.
Now Mallory.
There you go.
Mallory, we have to talk about this hate that you have for not open systems. She says, get an open system, use enough nicotine, not smoke work. So, Nick, Mallory, it doesn't have to be an open system. It can be a pod. It can be, these are not open system. Oh, well, Kevin.
What?
Kevin. So I bought this. What's it called? This is a Nord X. I bought another one, so I have two of these now.
Nord 2.
This is a Nord X.
Yeah.
And when I ordered this one came today. I just charged it up. I took the pod from the other Nord that I used during the day at work, and I clicked the same pod into this one. And it has my liquid that I put in it, but it is a drop-in coil. It's not really an open system. You don't rebuild. Normally, you don't rebuild. But guess what, Kevin?
What you rebuild?
When I ordered this, I saw on the website where I purchased this the opportunity that they actually had a rebuildable coil.
Oh boy!
For the Nord X.
Oh boy, Jason!
So look how tiny. This is the rebuildable atomizer for the Nord X.
I didn't see it.
So here, this is the coil.
I've never rebuilt anything. I just pop them out, pop them in, and I move on.
I'm going to rebuild this. It just came in this afternoon.
Those people.
So you remember when Mike? Oh, you weren't on the show when Mike and I did the show, and he was talking about X delivery.
Which time? Yes. Yeah.
So this company
delivery
that I purchased this from uses a non, that is an RBA for the Nord X, which turns this not open system, this is a drop-in pod system, into an open, it converts this into an open system because I can now rebuild, we can now rebuild for the Nord X. But anyway,
have the technology.
So they ship your product from California to a regional delivery company who then delivers it to your house. So they shipped it like 2 weeks ago, and it never updated. The tracking never updated. And this morning I was getting a little frustrated. I tracked it, and it suddenly said out for delivery.
Oh shit, Patrick's pissed, but they out for delivery on there.
And it has to be signed for. So my wife has a habit. She was at home today of not answering the door.
Good for her. I like that.
However, I have, every time somebody rings the doorbell, I get an alert on my phone. So he rang the doorbell, and there were like 7 deliveries to the house today. Amazon delivered 3 times to the house for some fucking reason. Instead of once with 3 packages, they delivered 3 times. But this guy in a t-shirt and shorts, just regular old street clothes, is ringing the doorbell and pounding on the door. My wife said she felt like the whole house shook when he... So she got up, and by that time, I'm talking to him on the doorbell.
Yeah.
That way he knows if he's a sketchy fella that I'm watching him.
All right.
And the wife comes to the door and signs for the package, and he goes on his way. But it was just like, how unprofessional. I mean, you're using a delivery method that's just like schmucks with a car.
Schmucks with a car.
It's like Uber. It's like an Uber. I mean, people, independent, people,
independent contractor. I get
goes to the airport and picks up the packages and delivers them in his car.
Oh, never mind.
So I was a little bit sketched out, and Michael Redford knows exactly who it is because he put it in the fucking chat room. I am not saying the name of the company. I was trying to be... because they were the only people that I could find that had the rebuildable base for the Nord X.
Okay.
So that's why I ordered from them. Normally it would have been a different company, but they were the only ones that had one when I ordered.
Well, let's see.
Yeah. So Mallory, you have to get over your hate for the closed systems. I'm just saying, whatever helps anybody quit is a viable option. We shouldn't only preach the type of vaping that we vape.
I don't.
The Ninja Thirsty Drink System is like having a drink aisle on your countertop. Choose from over 25 flavors.
Getting a commercial here. Once you pause for so long on this website,
look at all those wonderful flavors that you can choose from that we don't like.
Your Ninja sparkling water machine that I'm sure adults like. Fizzy drinks.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Just look at that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Is it part of that?
Indeed crazy. Yeah, well, it was the commercial.
Okay.
For that. Yeah, let's
chuckleheads our ass.
Through Quit now. There's smoking cessation classes. You can also text Quit to 47848, where you can get some of those good resources that will help you out as well. Now, if you're in Colombia, is there a medical drug that people can take, like a medical drug that helps stop with this?
Yes, so because e-cigarettes contain nicotine, there are nicotine replacement options that include patches or gums, and Lexington Medical Center offers smoking cessation classes as well.
Okay, and in those classes, what are they able to learn?
So they're able to learn coping techniques and ways that you can help to stop quitting, and then also give you more information about resources to nicotine replacement therapy.
Such good information there, Dr. Matthews.
Nicotine,
it's so good.
No. What did she say? She said, I'm going to go back
Nicotine replacement therapy.
No, it was... It's a grammatical thing for me, Kevin.
What are they able to learn?
So they're able to learn coping techniques and ways that you can help to stop quitting, and then also give you more information about resources to nicotine replacement.
Resources to nicotine replacement therapy.
Yeah.
So that two in the middle was really...
But didn't she just say that children, and this is allegedly the topic, that nicotine fucks with their brains, right?
Yes. That's
and
what
now
she
they're
said.
saying nicotine patches and gums.
Nicotine products to help you stop nicotine products. Yes.
You see, people, where the problem is the bullshit message.
Well, look at the chin. William's really going in on her cranial structure and the bones of her face.
I'll look.
She doesn't have a jawline per se. And her chin is very not prominent.
Just, nicotine's bad for you, kids. So here's some gum.
Information there, Dr. Matthews. It's so good to know, really, the negative impacts.
This is like the Joe Biden speech.
What have you learned from the bitch?
Tobacco control idiots.
Yeah. It's no good for you. So here, take some more.
Yeah, we don't want you to have nicotine. So here's some nicotine to help you change that nicotine.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Kevin, I'm looking at your screen, and I think my glasses are fucked up because everything behind you is blurry.
Good. It's because it is.
I just got new glasses. I don't need to be afraid that my glasses are fucked up.
I'll be right back.
He'll be right back after these messages. So last week, well, actually, several weeks ago, Jason and I were kind of reacting to a Senate committee meeting where they were grilling FDA, and Tony was there, and Senator Tillman from North Carolina was there, and he made some very unkind statements about Chinese people and Native Americans. So this week, we have a story from upstate. I think this is upstate New York. So it's not Tillman, but a Native American tribe, the Seneca, must be having some sort of event, and it says that they are prohibiting smoking and vaping in the jazz area, whatever that means. So smoking and vaping products are no longer allowed inside the blocked off areas for jazz in the valley. So they must be having, the Native American tribe must be having a jazz festival, no, it's just the city of Seneca. So it's not even the Seneca. They made it seem like, I thought it was like the Seneca Indians, but it's just the city of Seneca is having a jazz festival, Kevin, which is sort of like free flowing, like energetic, jazz music. I couldn't go to a jazz or blues club and not have a cigarette or a vape and a beer
or a drink. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. So it says here, the Seneca City Council approved final reading of an ordinance Tuesday night, making it unlawful for any person to use any vaping or tobacco product, including but not limited to e-cigarette, any form of smokeless tobacco product, so any form of smokeless tobacco. This is completely unjazzy.
Unjazzy is not even, yeah. Well, I imagine the security guards are...
I couldn't take my blueberry Zemo.
Right.
I couldn't take my because this is a non-combustible. It is a smokeless tobacco product. I couldn't
be no
use
adulting here.
My blueberry Zemo at the jazz festival.
Oh.
How would they even fucking know? Are they going to check everybody's gums when they walk in?
I don't know.
You know, while they're wanding you to see if you have any, you know, firearms or anything, are they going to say, "Hey, pull your gum back and open your mouth so we can see if you got nicotine in there"? You know, like when you go to buy a horse, you always check the horse's teeth.
That's what I've seen and heard.
Inspect the hooves. Or when you're going to go buy a car, you look under the hood and kick the tires.
Yeah.
Or when you're, you know, dating a new girl, you lift the back of her dress up to check that out. You didn't do that when you were dating, Kevin?
No.
Oh.
No.
So William wants to know if patches are going to be banned, because that's also a smokeless tobacco product, you know.
Well, son of a bitch.
You won't be able to do any of those things within the event boundaries of jazz on the alley, as established by the city according to the ordinance. Violators of the ordinance would be required to pay a civil penalty ranging from $10 to $25 for each incident.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Jason wants everybody to know that there is a brand of cigarettes named Seneca. Those are made by the Seneca Indians.
So, are the fun police? Do they get these little notes like this, and they're going to say, "Well, gentlemen and ladies, charge up your tasers because we've got some ne'er do wellers coming, and we know it's going to happen."
Get your zip ties and your zip ties ready, because we're gonna hog tie people, tase them and hog tie them. So, you know, if it was me and I was the neighboring city, Kevin, to compete and offer an alternative, I would say, "Hey, we're going to have a jazz festival the same night, and you can do, you know, you can drink a beer and have a cigarette, and it'll be okay."
And as always, anybody can do their drugs as they please, because you're going to do that anyway.
It is New York State. I think they've already decriminalized all the you know, pots and stuff. So yeah, that's a question. Since if marijuana is legal, and this ordinance doesn't say specifically marijuana, if I walk in with my thing and they say, "Hey, this is not a tobacco product, this is a THC product. This is the pots. You can't affect the pots."
It's the pots.
Yeah.
I'm not Ute.
The marijuanas. The new rule passed by the council Tuesday night prohibits smoking and vaping products inside the Jazz on the Alley defined area. City Administrator Scott Mulder said last month that area has been defined, according to Mulder, as any of the areas that are blocked off for Jazz, meaning right in front of this restaurant and this sandwich stop, blah blah blah. So there's a stretch. So my question is, if I cross over the barricade onto the non-barricaded area,
I'm not touching you.
And I vape and exhale, if that vape goes across that line, is a police officer going to tase me?
They should. I suggest they would.
And arrest me or fine me.
I highly encourage it. I'm all for the tasing at the jazz concert now.
You know what was funny about the electrical? When I was a kid, we had an electric fence, right, to keep the animals in and stuff. So I would walk up to the electric fence and grab a hold of it with one hand and touch my brother with the other hand.
Well, sure, why not?
And he hated that because he was afraid to do it himself. Because you get a little bit of it, you know. It's not completely harmless for you.
Well, it's harm reduction to help your brother.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, I just put the I'm not gonna read the rest of this, but I do feel like this destroys the spirit of jazz music right here, Kevin.
Well, it does. And
this is, you know, in New Orleans, the home of the jazz, Kevin. That's where the jazz was.
I just don't understand.
They would be scoffing at such prohibitionary ideas is preventing people from doing what they enjoy.
You're gonna
at a jazz festival. I mean, kind of silly.
It's extremely silly. Wow.
I'm currently listening to a commercial. That's why. Wow. So here, Kev,
I'm just not for it.
You might have seen somebody tweeting about this week, but here's a little short news article.
Well, kids who live in homes where adults use e-cigarettes are exposed to significantly less nicotine than if the adults were smoking traditional cigarettes. That's according to a new study. Although the researchers say...
So there is less secondhand vape than secondhand smoke, Kevin.
That's correct. Way.
I don't believe in secondhand smoke, to tell you the truth. But,
way. What little there is, way less, yeah.
Rod says that he enjoys being tased and hogtied when he goes to swinger parties.
To keep kids completely nicotine-free, people shouldn't smoke or vape around kids at all. A researcher...
Kevin, if I ever have a kid, I'm just gonna cloud chase right in my kid's face.
Read that. read that screen out loud to yourself.
That is also one of the reasons why we are sharing this article. Vaping is less nicotine than smoking.
Vaping is less nicotine than smoking. These are professionals. These people are paid to give the narrative, and then they fuck that up too.
I'm just wondering if they have like a proofreader. If somebody reads the chyrons before they put them up there.
They can't even tell the truth correctly. That's all.
Not involved in the study also said adults shouldn't take a chance with the child's health.
Now, this kid has a metallic booger hanging out of their nose. Right there,
By vaping around them, as their lungs are still developing and vulnerable. The study was published Thursday in the journal JAMA.
See, Kevin, I just, I guess I must be an old fuddy-duddy.
Oh, yeah, you are.
But I don't see anything sexy or attractive having a piece of metal dangling out of your septum. I don't get it.
I don't care. I really don't. But
no, I'm all about, you being you and doing whatever you want to do. But I personally, I'm just saying, I don't find that attractive.
I hope you don't. I hope Janice doesn't, But I mean,
does she want you to get a pierced septum, Kevin?
Not that I'm aware of, and I'm not going to pierce anything. So
you want to get a Prince Albert?
I'm not going to pierce it. I don't even know what that is, except that it can.
You would really love a Prince Albert.
I think you should kiss my ass because I don't know what it means and I don't care. Either way,
that's when you go to the tattoo parlor, or the piercing parlor. And you drop your trowel and you flop your member out on the table and allow somebody to jab a needle through your urethra.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
To put a U-shaped barbell on your pee-pee.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Yes, Steve is correct that Cuomo did. During the COVID one time, he was wearing
I remember that.
like an Oxford shirt, and it must have been cold because there were some there was some nipplage action going on, and you could see his piercings.
Oh, well, he's a grown-ass adult. He's allowed. He's also a dumb shit, but that's
there.
All right.
Should be a rule. There should be a rule. Once you reach a certain age, that you have to, act your age.
You got to disband. Is that what you're saying? Oh my fucking word! Vaping is less nicotine than smoking, Patrick. That's all I know. I can't figure it out.
The next, you're gonna love the next one. I promise you, and I am not being sarcastic, Kevin. You will absolutely love This one.
Yeah, this one. All right.
This is from Real Clear Health, Kevin. Real Clear Health. So if we scroll down, it says the evidence is clear. Bans on flavored vaping products are harming public health.
That's correct. Look at that.
See, I told you would like it. Despite a growing body of evidence indicating that flavor bans on vaping products may lead to increased cigarette smoking, policymakers persist in their pursuit of such prohibitions. This approach is not only counterproductive, but also detrimental to public health because it undermines the potential benefits of vaping, Kevin, as a harm reduction tool. Flavors in vaping products play a crucial role in the success of helping smokers quit, and the evidence is clear that removing these options drives users back to more harmful combustible tobacco. Understanding why policymakers continue to endorse these bans and what steps can be taken to educate the public health about these dangers or their dangers is essential. Kevin, why do you think if they were to bring this valuable evidence to the politicians that says, hey, do you know that all these bans that you're instituting, that you're trying to push through, we have scientific, provable, repeatable data here, that shows that when states implement these flavor bans or these product bans in general, that it just drives people back to smoking.
Yep. Well,
why do you think politicians that have seen this data still continue to push for these bans, Kevin?
Because they like them. They like restricting shit. That's why.
And
they don't care.
Possibly, do you think it possibly has something to do with power? That politicians love to exert power over their minions?
Yes, that's correct. Well, they're serving us, right? Serving us a bunch of bullshit's what they're serving.
Here's
and I don't care what country you're in.
They're serving you a shit sandwich is what they're doing. Yeah. And, Jason brings up Bloomberg's bucks. I personally don't think that it has anything to, in America, I don't personally think that it has anything to do with Bloomberg's philanthro-colonialism in other countries. I absolutely, positively think that these politicians just love exerting force.
No. They're like, no.
They want to be your mommy.
That's right.
Do what mommy says or you're going to be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make me spank you.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
That's what I think it is. I really absolutely think it is. But anyway, recent studies highlight the unintended consequences of flavor bans. The National Bureau of Economic Research reported last month that restrictions on flavored vaping products reduced frequent youth use by 1.2 to 2.5%, but also lead to a substantial effect with young adults turning to combustible cigarettes. This is corroborated by a June study from the Society for Research on Nicotine and Tobacco, the SRNT, Kevin. They really still don't like us, Kevin, but they are actually releasing more and more positive stuff about vaping.
It's come to the point that they can't lie anymore. Though,
I think it has to do with the SRNT 15. I really do. After those 15 guys sent that letter, I really think that they're starting to slowly pull back. The SRNT is, at least.
As slowly as they can.
Yeah. So this is corroborated by a June study from the SRNT, which reported a significant increase in cigarette sales in New Jersey following its 2020 e-cigarette flavor ban. Moreover, Yale School of Public Health researchers in 2023 found that for every 0.7 milliliters of e-liquid not sold due to flavor restrictions, 15 additional cigarettes were sold.
Mm-hmm.
These findings underscore a critical point. Vaping and smoking are substitutes, and restricting access to flavored vaping products inadvertently promote smoking. I don't think it inadvertently does, Kevin.
No, I don't either. I think it's meticulous and specific.
So these efforts of these politicians to push these nanny state prohibition, restrictions and treat you like children, I think that they know that it's going to cause you to smoke more. And then those people that smoke that would have vaped get sick later down the road. They're going to use that to push even more restrictions on other freedoms.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Given this clear evidence, it is irresponsible for policymakers to continue to pursue flavor bans. There is a widespread false belief, fueled by media reports and advocacy from anti-vaping organizations, that flavored e-cigarettes are a gateway to nicotine for youth. Policymakers responding to public concern and media pressure may feel compelled to act decisively to protect children, even if the measures are misguided. This knee-jerk reaction, however, fails to consider the broader public health implications. In many cases, supporting vaping restrictions is seen as a safe political stance, even though it overshadows the scientific evidence proving that such measures are harmful to public health. So this, again, allows politicians to stand behind the podium and say to all of their constituents, vote for me. Yeah. I protected your children. Look at all I did to save your babies.
The Bible, the flag, and children. Those are the three things that they stand and hide behind. Period.
Yep. So, again, it's just a way for them to exert control over you. Bastard put an anime reference in the chat room.
Uh-oh.
I don't know that did he think that I wouldn't get the Black Butler reference?
I don't.
I don't particularly like that one, but it is an anime about a young kid who has a butler, and the advertisements look very homoerotic, so I don't watch it.
Yeah. So Martin, the author, Mr. Cullip, is ultra brilliant.
Yeah.
By the way. So.
Yeah, the success of vaping products in reducing smoking rates is closely linked to the availability of flavors. Flavors make vaping more appealing and palatable, particularly for adult smokers looking to quit cigarettes. The variety of flavors helps users find an alternative that satisfies their cravings without the harmful effects of combustible tobacco. By making vaping less attractive, flavor bans strip away one of the most effective tools for smoking cessation, leading to higher smoking rates and associated health risks. Yes, because then that gives them ammunition for the next wave of prohibitionary ideas and tactics that they want to push.
Eventually, Patrick, something could happen. Like, I don't know, a jazz festival. They're going to tell you can't do shit there. That's what's going to happen. Oh wait, it has
outdoors at an outdoor music event.
If the snowball to hell thing that I quoted last week is not, it's not a joke. It was an off the cuff comment with an interview with Michael, and he grabbed that quote on me. And I didn't realize I had said it the way I did, or I'd have probably worded it a little differently. But once they do one thing, they go, wow, we got away with that. Fuck them. We can do more. Let's stop him from doing anything at the jazz festival. They'll probably be fornicating and smoking dope, but it'll be okay because they can't have that nicotine now. That's it.
Steve, at least it's not hat advertisements.
Well, there, see.
Yeah. Exactly. Second, policymakers need to engage with and listen to scientific research. Decisions should be based on a comprehensive review of the evidence, not just on public sentiment or advocacy pressure. This means consulting with experts in tobacco harm reduction and considering the findings of rigorous studies that highlight the unintended consequences of flavored bans. Third, harm reduction strategies should be promoted as part of the public health agenda. And they are. Harm reduction strategies are pushed in every other area of public health except for tobacco.
That's correct. That I can think of. And I've looked. I don't know what else I can find that isn't.
Yeah. This is a Brit too. Yeah.
And honestly, Patrick, think about this. They don't use the words less harmful or harm reduction with NRT themselves. They just say, here, try that. That'll do you. And come back and see me. And here, let me text you fucking shit.
No, nicotine is as addictive as heroin, Kevin. It should be as easy as pie to quit using your patches and gums, because those are FDA approved methods, so they're not as addictive as heroin.
No, they're not. No, that's unicorn piss that they use it to mix it in with it, and it's magical. In fact, I didn't know if you knew that. I'm trying to help you, trying to help you.
So remember when Dr. Glover was here and she went to the Alternative Expo in Houston?
Yeah.
So this next piece is by somebody who was at the event.
Oh, okay.
Who is a political.
There's the hats.
This is Gore and Brothers hats. Those are the ones with the roosters and stuff on, the goat and the elephant that I have. Those are Gore and Brothers hats. But anyway, this is from the Hayride, which is Southern Politics and Culture. Now, if we scroll down, there's a picture of the Chinese flag, and this is not a vaping device, Kevin.
It isn't? What is it?
This clearly has vegetable matter at the end that is being heated or burned to produce a different effect than nicotine.
I wonder.
Yeah.
FDA.
So this says, despite its promises of accountability, the FDA has been failing in its enforcement to keep illegal vapes from the market. In many cases, illegal vape manufacturers are brazenly flouting regulations, openly marketing their products to children and teens, and skirting enforcement, often right under the nose of the FDA, Kevin. A prime example of this enforcement failure happened recently when the Alternative Products Expo came to Houston. Described as the premier traveling international trade show for vaping and cannabis, the expo hosted hundreds of vendors at the George R. Brown Convention Center as part of an industry-wide effort to showcase new products, drum up business, share knowledge, and learn about the latest industry regulations.
Oh,
Among
Patrick,
these, what?
Is anything you've had, possessed, used, consumed since you started not smoking been legal? Is there any one thing that you've purchased that was legal by FDA standard?
The cotton.
Okay. All right. And the containers, possibly. Maybe the little bottles.
The bottles. Yeah, the bottles are FDA approved bottles.
Are these FDA? I don't know. Fuck.
Yeah.
They
have a particular flow rate and a certain rigidity and childproof caps.
Yeah. Which we I can't remember the name of that website. We wanted childproof shit. Everything we've used is illegal until now with the 23 or 29.
Mallory says wire, but that's not 100% factually true. If the wire that you use has the word vaping anywhere on it, it is illegal. Now, if you order Canthol from an electronic supply store that is identical to the Canthol that you buy at a vape shop, that Canthol at the electronic store is not illegal.
That's right.
It has to do with the language that was originally placed within the deeming that had the words intended use.
Yeah.
So if it is being manufactured and sold with the intended use to be used inside of an atomizer, it's illegal.
Yeah.
If it's from an electronic supply store, yeah. If a battery is sold in a vape shop, it is illegal. If it is sold at a battery supply company, it is legal.
Yeah.
The cotton that I used to use in my K-Fund back in the day was sterile organic cotton that I bought at the CVS.
Yeah.
Chemical-free cotton.
So nothing, including vape shops, nothing is legal?
Nothing.
I wish they'd quit saying that shit then, because I've been illegal for 22 years combined.
Did you see the tweet that I tweeted at this week, Kevin?
I don't think I have. Are you good? Is it time?
No, not yet. No, this is not that tweet. This is just, it has to do with what we're talking about. So this week, Kevin, I opened my email and I got an email that was advertising nicotine pouches similar to but not these. Similar to but not these.
I don't know if I retweeted you.
You did.
I did. Okay, all right. I thought I did. I wasn't.
It had this big red circle thing on it. PMTA accepted.
Are you going to out who that is?
No, I will not.
All right.
It is a brand that is named after a character that was one of the Peanuts characters.
I got no idea. Oh, I think I do. All right.
She used to pull the football out from that particular name. So anyway, I put in here, I don't know who needs to hear this. If you are a vape or nicotine pouch manufacturer, putting this on your email advertisements isn't going to motivate me to buy your product.
No.
It does not mean your product is better than any other. So, yes, there is a company that is named after a girl that was on the Peanuts.
Something about skies and diamonds, maybe. Is that a...
That would be an appropriate assumption. And I don't even know why or how these people get my email, because I have never purchased any products from this wholesaler.
You haven't got
ever
the thing yet? No? Okay.
But just the idea that some company out there that makes nicotine pouches, but not this one. This one's a good company.
I can't believe that anybody this day
decided to slap a PMTA accepted label on their shit just to make people think,
right?
Well, they
took it in as an accepted, and then they told them no. So everything.
The word accepted on a PMTA, Kevin, just means that they have received it.
Good Lord, everybody's accepted.
So
on the
they
wording.
could have just said PMTA submitted.
There you go. That's where I'm going. Yeah.
I mean, it literally does not mean anything. It doesn't mean that FDA is looking at your PMTA and going, "Oh, this is a good one. All right, you're almost ready to be approved." No, it just means that you transmitted your FDA or your PMTA to the FDA, and it is in their possession. That's what it means.
Stop. Whoever's in charge of that, stop.
And this is a company, Kevin, that makes nicotine pouches like Zemo, but not Zemo, because Zemo is good. That were somehow, for a very long time, advertising on YouTube.
Okay.
I used to see commercials for that nicotine pouch all the time on YouTube.
Wow. All right. Well,
and I don't know how they got that through either. That kind of freaked me out. But anyway,
I don't know.
Anyway, it says here, among these exhibitors were more than 50 manufacturers who have either been busted for or sent warning letters over youth enticing cartoon designs in games. So over 50 of the exhibitors at this event had already been verbally chastised or sent firmly worded letters from the FDA.
Yeah.
And conveniently, in the middle of the hall, the FDA had a booth just a few feet away from said exhibitors.
What does that tell you? Oh.
And I think, Kevin, we did indeed talk about a similar situation at a different expo a while ago that the FDA was going to be there.
Yes.
And I joked that the FDA should have people walking around handing out warning letters.
Why not? So, but what I request from the people who are in the industry and go to these shows is that you set up a camera and you set it so it's facing those chuckleheads over at the FDA on both sides. Just rent out both sides. It's your problem, it's your cost. And then buy them cameras and just record the show. I want to see how many people that are walk over to them and say, what is your fucking problem? Just to see. I just want to see. It's like a candid camera show for Kev. And then that would make me happy. But I want all the copyrights. So yeah, do that. Who is this? Who wrote this? And why is
it says guest. It says guest post.
I imagine that's some tobacco.
So this is probably the chief of the very secretive tribe called the Never Touch a Booby tribe. Because well, something's been jammed up his ass.
What I can't imagine is why you would want to do a guest post. Why can't you say who you are? That's sad. Yeah.
While the expo should have been a reckoning for these illegal manufacturers, it went off without a peep. There were no raids, no enforcement, no accountability, Kevin.
No.
This happened not even a week after the Senate Judiciary Committee called the FDA to task for not addressing the illicit vape issue head on, just a year after the FDA declared it would use the full scope of its enforcement tools to hold the peddlers of unauthorized vapes accountable.
What are their tools? Sternly worded letters and fines. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are it. They don't come out with flak jackets on. They're not Rambos.
They're not paramilitary organization, Kevin.
I personally invited Big Bri to come to my house with a warrant this week. I just did that this week.
Meanwhile, illegal vape manufacturers, 90% of whom are based in China. That is not true, Kevin.
Well, it's a guess.
90% of whom are based in China. Yeah. I mean, if you include all of the companies that are still around that are manufacturing e-liquid, there are thousands of them.
Well, I imagine there are.
And there are only dozens of illegal vape companies in China. So
probably.
Maybe now if you're including the dollar amount, well, the Chinese are probably kicking our ass on the dollar amount for sure.
Oh, I imagine.
Yeah. 90% of whom are based in China are taking advantage of this leniency, pumping the market full of new, unregulated products. The statistics are staggering. Today, more than 11,500 disposable, illegal, unique vaping products are being sold in the United States stores. 11,500 brands?
That's a very strange number for brands.
I mean, now if you include like
that isn't
every variation of single of like flavors and nicotine strengths and all that stuff.
Maybe. It's reachable, possibly, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So this is Robin Armstrong is a doctor of internal medicine who practices in the Houston area. She's the owner of the Armstrong Medical Group and the Texas National Committee for the Republican National. Okay, Kevin.
What? Oh, I know.
So I just want everyone to know that this is not a, political thing where there's a divide between the left and the right on this product or on this thing. No, this is the members of the No Fun tribe, the Never Touch a Booby tribe, from both sides of the political spectrum that just are, really out to prevent you from enjoying things that you enjoy.
Well, guest post turned into Robin, so okay. Strange.
So,
You're strange. stranger.
It just really annoys the fuck out of me, Kevin, that all these people that are out there just really, really, really just don't want you to enjoy life. Just don't want you to have fun. Just want you to do what they tell you is okay.
Well, you know what they say, because who the fuck are they? And as long as you're being annoyed by other people, it's not me. If you keep my name out of your mouth, that makes me happy. I like that.
You keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth, Kevin.
That's right.
I just want to slap you across the face before I say that, though.
All right. You just be prepared. I'm not going to go, oh, that just happened.
So, this week, Jason sent me a message about his favorite carry.
His favorite carry, okay.
His favorite concealed carry, daily carry pistol.
What did you just have in your hand? A jug?
A jug of tea.
Okay.
I was refilling my tea, Kevin. Can I?
Oh, all right.
Can I not drink tea?
I thought you were talking about something concealed carry. I thought it was a case.
No, I was doing two things at once, Kevin. But
I just thought, well, can't you see through that?
But Jason, I thought Jason told me that all of his firearms were lost in a freak boat accident, but
yeah,
he proceeded to tell me about his favorite, concealed carry toy, and I said, "Oh, that's
the tool that carries it."
It was
the toy itself.
It's a gun that only holds 2 bullets, Kevin. That's a toy.
It's a toy. All right.
So I proceeded to tell him what my favorite daily carry is that holds 14 bullets. That's a real tool. That's,
I understand.
So Alive wants to know in the chat room, this is Australia. Let's improve vaping education.
Oh, that's right.
Australia. Let's improve vaping. Oh, it's an acronym. Oh, I didn't ask, but now I get it. Yeah.
I just saw them on Twitter. I don't know if they followed me offhand, but
yeah,
I think I just saw it like today or yesterday.
Yeah. Jason says that he showed told me what, and I said, oh, that's very dainty.
Stop shaming people.
That's a very dainty, item for self-protection. I'm
going to give you
my fingers would be too big to fit into the trigger guard there.
The shortest version of my concealed carry course was this: everybody lay your weapons facing down range, unloaded.
Always.
We all did. And the gentleman who was a retired officer, chief, Navy, and he goes down the line, beautiful gun, this, that. These are expensive. I had one of these years ago. And he gets to mine, and he said, oh, that's kind of cute, Kev, or something to that effect. And everybody laughed. And he said, yeah, everybody's laughing. This is the weapon of choice for me because this is the range I want to use it in. And all it is a Davis 32. It's a throwaway gun, really, in the end. But that's what I had at the time, And I thought, well, that's a good way to make a point to him, So yeah, cute isn't necessarily bad, and I don't consider it cute. It's old man style. It's got the wood grain.
Yeah. No. Cute. Then he sent me a picture of his AR-15.
See, you said that was cute too, right?
And he said, I just built this year during the pandemic, and I said to him, I said, well, this is my project right here. This is what I'm working with right here.
Did you see that last comment with Alive?
Yes, I know it's Pippa.
Before, okay. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
look at that.
So yeah, this is my next project. I
think
still
it's
have
cute.
to get a couple pieces.
Are you printing them?
No, this is legally purchasable product here, Kevin.
I'm calling you out on that, the well-behaved part. just saying. Did I follow you back? I don't remember.
Michelle says she has a 4-incher.
A what?
A 4-incher.
ALIV.
Yeah, he sent me a video of one of those belt buckle derringers, and that's the one I said that's very dainty.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, my belt buckle would have to be like this big around. It would have to be like a World Wrestling Federation belt. But anyway, not to be distracted about bullets and guns. Kevin, last week we broke the news that in Alabama and Oklahoma they were installing vending machines in grocery stores to sell bullets and ammunition at the supermarket, right? So that story got widely shared by the Associated Press this week. It was all over the Twitters this week.
Meanwhile, the Surgeon General...
And I was like, we talked about that story last week. It's old news now.
Meanwhile, the Surgeon General's talking about gun problems. So, yeah.
Well, there were a couple snarky dummies that were like, you can buy bullets at the grocery store in Texas, but you don't have any electricity because your governor's an idiot and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, we don't even have these in Texas yet, you dumbass. This is just in Oklahoma and Alabama. Now, the company that makes the vending machine is in Texas, though, Kevin. So they will be available in Texas.
Pippa, tag me in something so I can.
Or didn't follow Pippa.
Or put your handle in here. I guess that's probably better for everybody else who isn't. That's probably the best thing to do. 4 more followers.
So you need 5 total for him to do that? I mean, that was cruel. So this says, Kevin, vaping could land Alabama teens in juvenile court under new bill.
Lock them all up, I say.
You can buy bullets at a grocery store out of a vending machine, Kevin, but if you get caught vaping and you're a teenager in Alabama...
just the teens, right? Not the adults?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Because, there we go.
It says, an Alabama senator has pre-filed a bill that would provide penalties to youths, including potential juvenile court or fines, who possess tobacco or ends products, Kevin. Kevin, I noticed that I picked on Mallory and Mallory disappeared. I think I hurt Mallory's feelings.
Uh-oh.
I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, Mallory.
Oh.
Seriously. Come back, Mallory. SB2, sponsored by Senator Garland Gudger, he's a Republican from Coleman, would subject most teenagers to juvenile court if they receive, buy, or attempt to obtain tobacco products, electronic delivery systems. Apparently, she's just being silent, Kevin. She's still here. E-liquid or alternative nicotine products. This interview was conducted before Gudger was seriously injured Thursday. He was in a jet ski accident. He was in a jet skiing accident. It also establishes filing and permit fees for distributing tobacco. So it's also a licensing bill, Kevin. It also establishes filing and permit fees for distributing tobacco products, ends, or alternative nicotine products, and funds State Board of Education to provide vaping awareness education, prevention programs, and drug prevention and education curriculum. So in Alabama, Kevin, if you're a kid and you get caught with an e-cigarette, you're going to go to vape court.
Oh, well, and good on them. Let them roast them.
Well, that's, every time I hear Roll Tide, I just want to laugh now.
Roll or you'll get tased, boy.
Never mind.
Oh, yeah, well.
I was going to go in a completely inappropriate direction with that one, Kevin.
Yeah, don't. Well.
You got a pretty mouth.
Ah, well. This is your night to remember, boys.
Kevin.
What?
So, Kevin.
What?
Fuck. Kevin.
You're like my mother. What?
I am not like your mother. You clean your own damn bedroom.
Well, all right. That's fine.
Yeah. So,
Base.
Kevin, do you know?
Is it time? Holy shit, is it time?
Time it is, Kevin?
Kitty.
That is a sick sounding cat.
It's time for the Vape Cats X of the Week.
Wow. So you sent 2 tweets this week, Kevin.
That would be me.
I said you sent 2. So
yeah.
Bruni, who is
Big
not the Thunder from Down Under, is not here again.
I don't think he is. He might be. You never know. He's sneaking around sometimes.
He hasn't piped up. He has not piped up yet, Kevin.
Big B, where are you?
So he's responding here to a tweet, Kevin. This is a response to a tweet because I can see a line. I can see a line here. So let's go up here and see what this says. Phil, the rodent, says, if at first you don't succeed, I've heard it can take up to 30 tries. And it looks like 22nd Century is relaunching their VLNs in South Korea, Kevin. And then Bruni responds to the, I've heard it takes up to 20 times if at first you don't succeed. He says, it was a hell of a lot easier with vapes. Plus, I've been smoke-free for over 10 years now, unlike using other products where stressful events in life had me reaching for a cigarette again and not one of the approved products because after a while it ain't going to work.
Yeah. And
then the B down here says, likewise, 14 years for me, no relapses, not one. Vapes work like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was in response to Phil. Now, Kevin,
what?
Phil found an article
because he's then he's digging and he finds them and he just tags us.
Phil found an article and tagged me, you, and our friend Skip. And it's a story here from Cleveland.com. It says, the father told police he did chase his son with a bat because he caught the boy in possession of a vaping pen. Cleveland Heights man charged, accused of hitting son with an aluminum baseball bat.
Dumbass. Why?
So,
you see.
So, it says here. What? The article?
Yeah, it was a paywall.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, no. Blink.
All right.
It says here, man faces charges for allegedly hitting his son with an aluminum baseball bat, says the Cleveland Heights police blotter.
And, I more power to him. Because,
So, it says here at 2:20 p.m., July the 7th, police were dispatched to Yorkshire and Goodner Roads on a report of a man getting out of a vehicle or an SUV while holding an aluminum bat, grabbing a child, and putting that child in the SUV's back seat. The caller followed the SUV to a Yorkshire home's driveway and saw a girl on the porch crying. The brother's father would not allow police into the house to see his son. When the police eventually got the boy to the door, he said from inside that his father had struck him with a bat and may have broken one of his fingers. Now, guys, I think that, if you act up and you're a child, you definitely should be, you get a little swat on the backside to remind you not to do those bad things. But I think, Kevin, an aluminum baseball bat might be overkill.
You think it might? I was wondering. I wasn't sure.
Maybe if you have a flip-flop on your foot, you can take the flip-flop off and whack them on, here in South Texas, the mothers will throw their chancla, that's at their kid's head.
Yeah.
They'll throw a shoe at the kid's head. But a baseball bat, Kevin, that is a little bit of overkill.
Well, this is all brought to you by the parents of PAVE and their sponsors and their board members, all the other politicians that bring them in. Yeah.
So the father said he did chase his son with a
ball bat.
with a bat because he caught the boy in possession of a vaping pen. The woman who witnessed the event said the man got out of his SUV, chased the boy, then wrapped his arms around the boy before putting him in the SUV. Although the man would not allow police inside, when he walked away from the door, the police asked the girl to let them in, and she did. So now here's the thing, Kevin. The police technically, the police have this is extenuating circumstances. They have a witness telling the police officer that they saw an adult man chasing a child with a baseball bat. Yeah. They have every right to enter your house under the assumption that you have abused that child with the baseball bat.
That's correct, right.
There are cases where they can enter your house
without
permission. They believe that somebody is in imminent danger.
Right.
So they were being extremely polite by asking and staying outside until somebody that was inside gave them permission to come in. Yeah, because technically they could have kicked the door in, and when the guy resisted, they could have put him on the ground and maybe hit him with a baseball bat.
That's, well, suggested, but
or a billy club. They don't have to use a baseball bat.
I don't think, do they even carry those anymore?
What?
Billy clubs?
Batons?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I've never
noticed in a while.
I guess next time I see a popo, I'll have to ask. You know what? One of my patients, his stepson, or not stepson, son-in-law is a deputy sheriff. I will ask him the next time I go.
Because I thought they went to the slapsticks or whatever the fuck they are. I don't know.
Blackjack?
Blackjack.
Leather. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. The police, the boy told police his father knocked him to the ground when they arrived home and struck him several times with the bat, then made him crawl into the house.
Wow. Wow.
I
wonder how effective that would be.
Took the boy to the hospital, and he was found to have a swollen leg and hand and an injured index finger.
Wow. Well, that's not talking with your children, certainly.
That is definitely not talking with your children, Kevin.
It's just not effective.
That is not going to work well.
I don't understand.
Definitely not going to work well. So here, now I have a string of multiple X posts, Kevin.
All right, I'm ready. Wow, you're kitty.
So this is a tweet from Dr. Sarah E. Jackson on the X's that says that secondhand vaping is not the same as secondhand smoking. We already played a video about that a while ago. New paper from this author indicates secondhand vapor exposes people to vastly lower levels of nicotine than secondhand smoke. exposure to more harmful substances is likely to be lower still.
Imagine that.
Wow. So I thought that was pretty cool that we had a tweet from an MD or at least somebody with the word doctor. She's a member of SRNT Europe. She is president-elect, Kevin, of SRNT Europe. See what I was saying about maybe there being some relaxation and depuckering by SRNT?
How long can they ignore the truth? I guess I don't know.
So that seems pretty good. Then we have a tweet from the Global Action to End Smoking, which is the ex-smoke-free world, guys. They just changed their name. Misinformation about nicotine and smoking is a major hurdle to ending the smoking epidemic. Nicotine can be life-saving when delivered appropriately to adults, according to CDUG. We must correct misconceptions and support effective science-based options. And here's a link to more information about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a message here from Smoke Free Sweden, Kevin. New research from the Lancet has shown that e-cigarette users are more likely to be smoke-free after 1 year compared to those using NRT.
Huh.
And then there's a picture here, clinical blah, blah, blah. 1 year later, 18% were successful at being smoke-free after a year. Then we have another tweet here from our friends at Renegade Research, Kevin, that is talking about the benefits of nicotine on ulcerative colitis. UC is primarily a disease of non-smokers or ex-smokers. It was found that transdermal nicotine in combination with conventional therapy was more beneficial than individual treatment with either.
There's a link
to a study on
person. I'm sorry. There's at least one person with that I follow, and he follows me. That is a definite reason for the nicotine.
Yep,
and it does help him.
So then we have a second tweet today, Kevin, from the folks at Renegade Research.
Uh-oh.
This is a tweet that says, from bedbound to 60%. That is huge. We love to see fellow spoonies becoming more functional. Every little bit helps. We're stronger together. The nicotine tech success. And if you look here, it says, this is from Ansodum. It says, you can indeed always do it supervised by your doctor. Personally, for me, NP has been a game changer. That's a nicotine program or nicotine protocol. I went from bedbound to now 60%. I'm also on this medicine here. Main benefits to me: energy, less PEM. Her memory is back. No more brain fog. I'm so grateful to the nicotine test, because if you see here, Kevin, I'm not going to say this, but there is a hashtag here on her bio.
Imagine.
So then there's that one. And then I have a story here that is also on that same topic. Oh, I hit the wrong button. I have to reshare. Reshare, Kevin.
Reshare.
We're going to talk to Kate Marani. It says a group of long C-word patients were treated with 7 milligram nicotine pouches for 6 days. All symptoms resolved, with the patients remaining symptom-free at 6 months and 12 months. The question that everyone should be asking is, why did nicotine lead to recovery? Because it displaces venom from nicotinic acetylcholine receptors. So where did that venom come from? I'm not going to say this word here, but it clearly is showing that people that are suffering from a certain health issue are seeing relief and using the nicotine. And then I have another story from Peter A. McCullough, MD. He's a master of public health. And it says, my clinical practice experience with low-dose nicotine patches is positive. The rationale and clinical reports are encouraging. Large RCTs are needed. And there's a link to Courageous Discourse. And he's written an article here about the benefits of nicotine use in treatment for a health condition that I will not say out loud on the show, because anytime I say that word out loud on the show, my channel gets spanked on the YouTube.
As long as we showed the rodent earlier, the rodent's got like 9,000 something now. Thread 9,000 tweet thread, and if he hasn't seen these, maybe he will check these out as well. But he probably has, knowing him, because it's all the same subject in one form or another, whether you were smoking or vaping or using nicotine in other forms.
Patches.
Yeah. I think he's got every available, except, reaching down to the ground and pulling it out of the root. So, and maybe not. I don't know. Rodent's pretty diligent. He's on it. That's all I can say.
I think he has unlimited free time. I think maybe he's at that age. That age in life where he can't, work anymore. This is driving me crazy. The X. There, I followed you back.
Good.
Quit nagging me on the Twitters now. All these people are so. If I don't follow them right away, they act up, Kevin. I'm just saying.
Nice people.
Yeah. So, Kevin.
Oh, Simon, what?
I feel bad for people in Montreal, Kevin.
No.
I feel bad for them because the Gazette in Montreal this week published higher tobacco and vaping taxes offset drug plan spending in federal budget. So increased cash flow coincides with the launch of a new $1.5 billion drug plan to offer universal coverage for contraceptive and diabetes medications. So, Kevin.
Yeah.
So, my question is shouldn't the higher tobacco and vaping taxes go to benefit, like, getting people to quit smoking?
Well, I thought it was for the children. So if that's not really the truth,
it's being used so those people in Montreal can just fuck without, fear of repercussions.
And then they're going to make more kids.
Buy your own damn condoms. Buy your own damn birth control pills.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I know that America's had is almost a socialist country.
I have a theory that stupid people shouldn't breed. So I don't know.
Well, that is a universal. I 100% agree with you, Kevin. They should sterilize everyone at puberty, and then before they can be unsterilized, they have to take a test,
and they have to be at least 25,
responsible, and
at least 25,
intelligent.
Right? 25 plus up.
Yeah. Because,
all right.
I mean, Kevin, if you have one dumb guy and one dumb girl and they breed, you're going to have a whole bunch of dumb kids.
That's just it. They just multiply like rabbits.
Yeah, because you got two dominant dummies, and
they don't know what caused it.
That creates more dummies.
And they do it again, and they don't know what it caused.
If you have one smart person and one dumb person, there's a recessive in there, which means that 50% of the kids will be intelligent and 50% will be dumb. But at least you get the benefit of the 50% positive.
And you hope they outweigh the dumb. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
And that's a very loose and general description of, procreation and genetic theory. I mean, obviously, sometimes you could have 4 dumb kids in a row, but they do have there is a genetic, it's roulette there, Kevin. There is a possibility that the good is going to show up, but two positives usually create a positive. So.
Huh. Yeah. I'm very disappointed. All I've been under the impression for 10, 12 years now is taxes save children.
Yeah.
And now they're preventing children, evidently.
So it says here, in Ottawa, the federal government expects that its latest effort to discourage Canadians from smoking, and apparently it will dissuade people from the safer alternative, vaping, by taxing them, contained in the federal budget tabled on Tuesday, will generate $1.7 billion in new revenue. Now, Kevin, every time I've seen some sort of tax projection on what earnings will happen because of a vape tax or a cigarette tax, it has fallen short 100% of the time.
Oh, preach it, Patrick. If
they projected it will be a $1.7 billion improvement, I promise you it will be less than, 2/3 of that.
Well, but either way, they have to have people that smoke to help fund this.
Yeah. Well, let's drive away from smoking or from vaping, which is safer.
Yeah.
They're going to go back to the old, comfortable smoky teat.
Oh, well. Because,
That increased cash flow happens to coincide with the launch of a new $1.5 billion drug plan offering universal coverage for contraceptives and diabetes Medicare. I don't actually have any issue with government subsidized, or at least government, especially for insulin, Kevin, because no company can own the patent on insulin.
It's insane.
It is. The gentleman who developed insulin said, "I'm giving this free to the world."
Yep.
So, I have suggested, Kevin. So, with this most recent, there was a bill that took effect on January 1st. It was a Biden piece of legislation that gave Medicare and Medicaid the authority for the first time ever to negotiate with drug companies to reduce the cost of medicines. So I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
The government agency now has the authority to negotiate, and behind that negotiation, they have the weight of every senior citizen or person in our country that is on Medicaid as their buying pool.
Right.
So that's millions and millions of Americans.
Right.
That if Medicare controls their benefits, because they do, and Medicaid as well, they can say, hey, we've got 30 million enrolled senior citizens in America, or people that are in our programs, and we're going to negotiate the price with you on this because we have the buying power of 30 million people behind us. So we are only going to pay X for insulin. Or actually they're doing every cycle, they're doing 10 more drugs. So they took the 10 most common diabetes and heart medicines this round. And the next round, they're going to take the next 10 and so forth and so on until every quarter they have negotiated the price of more pills for these old people and poor people. I don't have a problem with that. Kevin, to tell you the truth, I think the federal government should just say, you know what? We're going to create a national pharmacy that any American can order their meds from.
Okay.
And buy them directly from us. So they already have the program. That's the veterans.
Right.
Have a central pharmacy that if you're a member of the VA, if you're on TRICARE, or if you're on veterans benefits, you can have your meds delivered directly to your house from the VA.
Right.
So you already have the model for that. So we just expand that to cover everybody in America.
You're asking for efficiency, and I'm curious as to how you think that'll actually work.
And then the government says we have the buying power of every American. And if you want to sell your pills in America, you're going to sell them to us at this price.
Yeah.
And we're going to put a big fucking order in. We're going to be buying in bulk.
Mm-hmm.
So we deserve a discount.
Big break. Then they're going to mark them up 1% or whatever the
Kevin,
percent
I have
is.
patients that have meds that cost $700 for one prescription per month.
Right. I know. Well, I'm sure there's, I know. Oh, yeah.
And if the newer the drug, the more expensive it is.
Of course.
So, I am very much a capitalistic son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
But in this particular instance, I think Big Pharma needs to be knocked down a peg.
Yeah. I had one instance with Dustin, and I went to the pharmacy. I picked up his script. He had already been on the normal, non-generic, I should say, and they gave him generic. So
I don't care about the generic.
I didn't either. In fact, he's 17 or 18. I said, it's a generic. It's probably just the same. And it about 4 or 5 days, it was not happening. It was not working. And the doctor did eventually say, well, yeah, sometimes those generics aren't exactly the same. Anyway, I went into the pharmacy and I talked to the doctor, and they said, well, you got to go back in and do whatever. I said, listen, I need the real pills. Well, we don't have any, but if you want them, I think it was $1,500. And I looked at the pharmacist or the person, and I'm like, what? And she said it's $1,500 for 30 days.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I said, well, can I buy like 5? Because how many is that? How much is that? It was 200 whatever. I don't know what the fuck it was. And I was just dumbfounded.
Yeah.
So yeah, his generic is he wasn't taking it properly in the end, it wasn't working when he did. It really didn't work.
Well,
and right now
remember when Gottlieb was the head of the FDA, and he was always in front of Congress or on TV, and he was talking about biosimilars?
Mm-hmm.
So biosimilars are essentially the generics. They are supposed to have a similar result biologically, but it's a different formula.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some things, especially if it's an older drug, because after so many years, that formula no longer becomes trademarked. It's no longer proprietary. That's why drug companies will release a new, like when Prilosec first came out, Kevin, when it was a prescription medicine, and then eventually it became over the counter.
Right.
When you didn't have, but then they came out with Nexium, which is a slightly different formula of the same active ingredient with a couple other things added to it to, fix side effects that were, that occurred with the Prilosec, or, a time release feature that was different. So it's the same, but slightly different, so that we can have doctors change it from Prilosec, which is now OTC, to a prescription model.
Yeah.
So a lot of these that are the older generics are exactly the same formula. But some of the things that are listed as generic are biosimilar, which is not the same formula, but it's supposed to be similar.
For that case. And
but
everybody's
different, Kevin. Everybody metabolizes things slightly differently. So if it's not the smetabolizes in a different speed, or your body burns up part of the active ingredient during metabolism and it becomes less effective, and you have to wait for the medicine to reach that certain level. You have to, when you're changing medicines, you have to, especially psychological medicines and things like that, you have to take it for a couple weeks to get back up to that manageable, effective level.
I felt like a dumbass because I was just trying to be a reassuring parent. Don't worry about it. It's just take them as normal. It should be fine. I didn't use the make good might thing. I just literally thought this would just be fine.
Yeah.
And it was not. So it's do not.
Not always.
He's got there's a note on there. Do not substitute, I think is what it's called. DNS or something. And they call when they don't have it.
There's a checkbox on the prescription that says no generics.
Whatever it is, So that's the exception, not the rule, I'm sure, but he's the exception, and I couldn't have even guessed that. I was so mad. Anyway, sorry.
Instead of taking the money from the tobacco and vaping taxes and using it on education on nicotine and vaping and smoking and yada yada yada, they're using that money to buy condoms and child control, birth control medicine. Now, Kevin, rubbers are not expensive.
Well, no, they make them by the gazillions, don't they?
And I don't know about Canada, but in the States, birth control is not super cheap. But if you go to the Department of Health, they give them to you for free. If your parents give you permission.
Last I knew,
yeah, they still do. So, I don't understand. I mean, it says here, free contraceptives are central to a woman's right to control her own body. That is a fundamental woman's right. No, not free. If you want to open your legs and let just anybody in there, there should be repercussions, and you should be responsible enough to either use a condom or get the birth control medicine yourself. If you want the benefit of being promiscuous, then you should also just be responsible and say, well, you know what? If you don't have a hat for that thing, you can't get in, or
wrap that rascal, wrap that Willie.
Why is it the taxpayer's responsibility?
Well,
to pay for your ability to be, a floozy.
Well.
I'm using all sorts of words this week. Floozy. Haven't used that word in a long time.
That's a good one. I like that.
I said to a patient today, she fell and she has a black eye, Kevin. And I said, that's a shiner. And her daughter says, how old are you? I said, 52. She said, that's an old-fashioned word. I was like, what do you mean? Shiners?
It is?
That's
old-fashioned? Why is that old? What do they call them now?
I guess they don't have cool nicknames for black eyes now. They just call it a black eye.
Wow. Okay.
I was like, did the doctor tell you to put a T-bone steak on it or a ribeye?
Bag of peas or something,
something that's
if you have a black eye, you should use black-eyed peas. Is that? Never mind. Forget it.
Shiner is a beer in Texas, Jason.
Shiner's a minnow.
No, in Texas we have a brewery called Shiner.
Oh my god! I've always said Shiner. Is that some kind of derogatory term that we're not allowed to use anymore?
No, I guess it just means that you're old if you remember the word Shiner.
Because I stopped keeping track of the terms I'm not allowed to use because fuck you. That's all. I don't care.
So, there's been a lot of people making fun of like celebrities and stuff that have been using this medicine called Ozempic to help them lose weight. Because apparently, if you take this medicine, you lose weight really fast.
Yeah.
And I guess one of the first places that you see the weight loss is in the cheeks and in the face. So they say you have Ozempic face.
All right, I guess.
So this week, Kevin, a study was released by these British people on the effects of Ozempic.
Okay.
And it says here, Ozempic linked with lower dementia risk and nicotine use.
Oh, wow.
British study finds. So not only will you get skinnier and you'll get that skinny Ozempic face, but you'll also have a lower risk of dementia. And apparently you won't have cravings for nicotine. This is a new treatment for nicotine, Kevin. Novo Nordisk's popular diabetes treatment. Oh, it also helps you with diabetes, Kevin. But most of the people that I know that are taking it are using it for weight loss. Popular diabetes treatment Ozempic could be tied to a lower risk of cognitive problems, according to a observational study published by researchers at Oxford University. The study, published in the Lancet's eClinical Medicine Journal on Thursday, explored more than 100 million. That's a big study pool, Kevin. 100 million medical records of U.S. patients to see if Ozempic increased the risk of neurological and psychiatric conditions in the first year of use compared to with 3 common anti-diabetic medicines. The study found that Ozempic was not tied to a higher risk of any neurological or psychiatric condition studied, such as anxiety or depression, and patients taking Ozempic had a lower rates of cognitive decline and nicotine use. So what if I vape and I take Ozempic? Because that's 2 neurostimulants at the same time. Would I suddenly evolve to a higher plane of consciousness because I would have unlocked the full potential of my brain? Because, you know, they say that that most people only use like 20 or 30% of their brain, Kevin.
Oh, screw that. I use like 5. I don't
So
care.
if I take Ozempic and vape, then I have 2 chemicals in my body that apparently it boosts your
but will it,
resistance.
will it fight
to
your
dementia.
nicotine crave? I don't know.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. But I'm only using 5% of my brain. I don't claim any more because screw that.
Costello says he's old enough to give your mama a shiner. Now,
it ain't gonna happen unless you're wearing the wife beater.
Ed, I don't know what you're physically like, but I promise you, I promise you, my mama would take you. Because
when I get
my
home,
mama,
boy, I'm gonna smack her.
My
in the
mama's a
mouth.
big old farm girl, and she's got a vicious right hook. I'm just telling you. And I've seen her when I was in school. The principal pissed her off, and she walked up to him and grabbed him by the neck and put him up against the wall and lifted his ass up off the floor. So I don't know about being old enough to give my mama a shiner because she gonna break some ribs. Even at 70, what am I, 52? So she's 77. Even at 77, I think she could take you.
Oh,
she's a big girl. Even now.
Yeah, but Ed may like that challenge. You know, come on.
Yeah, well, I do need a new dad.
You got a Christmas list this long.
Yeah. The old one, he dead. Oh. He was dead for like 4 years before I even knew he was dead.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. But anyway, Kev.
What?
Kev.
Is it time for coffee?
Well, it will be in a minute. We're gonna go over to the Rumbles now. We have 4 stories. One is just the fifth story is just a repeat of a story from last week. I just wanted to show you that it is now being widely circulated.
Oh, that's right.
4 stories, and the last one is very disturbing, Kevin. Very disturbing. But how would you? Let me go over here to the thing so I can get the link here so that everybody.
The thing. I'll tell you that Logan, I think he reprimanded me today, but I'm not positive. And if you're on my Facebook, and you'll see the photos, but he was something like this. I don't know exactly, but I couldn't catch him doing that. He's just like his grandmother anyway. It didn't matter. Yeah, we're going to have him all day tomorrow, all day, early.
That ought to be fun. You'll be ready for a nap then after he leaves tomorrow.
I was ready for a nap when he left today, and then I took about a half-hour nap before you. I had to because I can't stand you anyway. And if I get a nap, I can stand you a little.
You got to be fully alert and awakened to be able to handle this show, Kevin.
Sometimes.
So Jason is already over at the Rumbles. I put the link to the Rumbles in the chat room. We're gonna play a little bit of a video while Kevin goes and refreshes his coffee and.
It's playing with his speed bag
probably has a bladder drainage and stuff, but I'm trying to remember which video did I play at the beginning. I don't want to play that one. Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, Kevin.
Yeah. I know.
How long is it going to take you to get coffee?
It's less than 3 minutes normally.
I don't have a 3-minute long video though. Vape Madness is longest, but I just,
it's the longest.
Here, we'll play this one. This one's 3 minutes and 4 seconds. So we'll see you over in the Rumbles in 3 minutes and 4 seconds or so. Okay, bye. Love you.
I will not show my independence, and I will not be making my own decisions. In 2009, a bipartisan Congress created the Center for Tobacco Products at the FDA, and then the president signed us into law. And no, the fact that Congress and the president agreed on something is not what was historic. It was that for the first time ever, FDA, since the time we were established in 1906, we're really the gold standard agency to make sure that every product you put on or in your body is safe and effective.
Bullshit. The FDA is expanding a recall of a popular blood pressure drug over concern it may contain an unwanted ingredient that can cause cancer.
Tonight, for people on medication to treat high blood pressure, the Food and Drug Administration is recalling several drugs that contain an ingredient, valsartan. That drug includes an agent that could cause cancer.
Pfizer recalls its popular anti-smoking drug Chantix over a possible cancer risk.
The recall was secondary to some unknown quantities of a chemical called NMDA. We do know that it can cause direct liver injury.
Now to the Food and Drug Administration and to questions of regulation. The salmonella outbreak and the major egg recall have raised questions once again about whether an agency charged with regulating drugs and food can adequately do its job.
I can share that, at least from where FDA's perspective is, we would prefer to not have kids on the continuum of risk, if at all possible. But we recognize that's not possible because kids are kids, and there's many, many, many reasons why they choose to do different types of things. If we get asked a specific question by a teen, either a direct message to us or via social media about the relative harms of vaping versus cigarettes, we try to be as clear as possible that if your comparator is a cigarette, vaping is less harmful. As kids are incredibly smart. I'm sure both of these gentlemen, I'm sure, see that, and they have a crap detector a mile wide. We have not tried to tackle that directly in any of our proactive messaging, but when we get questions specifically in social or direct message, that's when we have that one-on-one dialogue.
The FDA today calling it a dangerous epidemic.
The FDA calls teen vaping an epidemic.
Vaping is not as harmful as smoking.
You suck!